Hello from Richard Miller, nomadic cameraman on both hemispheres. And, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him from all directions. And you're going to see what's there. And then probably you'll say, hey, I want to go down there too. So then maybe we'll go together. Who knows if I can, or I'll be on another trip on the northern hemisphere or somewhere else. And so many people in Australia, but so many out too, and so many people in the Pacific and in this area of the world, and it's so much to discover. And so today we're going to go to Thailand. So Ananta, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks for breaking in on us here in Australia. We're close, but close enough to make it work. Seems like a lot of breakthroughs for me, just being in a new atmosphere. I know you've traveled a lot. Sometimes you can feel like you're all wound into a web, a web of what would it be? A web of commitments. And then it
Yes.
seems like later I can be free enough to explore. But now I just have to get through till tomorrow. And so then it's very easy to postpone, right? And then say, okay, not now, please. I do it on the weekends. And whatever you're going to do, right? What are we going to do? Ananta, what are we going to do? Anyhow.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I think we're going to pause, right? That's the first step, right?
Okay.
And we're going to feel all right about pausing. And that's something that doesn't seem to happen so readily in our normal life. We don't feel all right about pausing. Somebody said the fear of your own inactivity. It's killer.
I'm in love with inactivity.
Yeah. How did you get there, though? Could you get there from here?
I spend a lot of time just sinking into being whenever I can, you know.
So then that kind of begs to say that there's sometimes when you can't. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. When I've got a full-on schedule, you know, when I've got the last years I've had schedule that took me through many countries, many flights, many different staying in people's places, what you're tasting now, changing all the time, the atmosphere changing all the time. It's like for me anyway, my body having to adjust continuously to different situations. Then it seems to take longer to settle into just rest. Seems like the constant change has an effect in the system, like one of those Christmas things you shake?
And little snowflakes are in it?
Yeah. It's like it takes a while to settle back.
Right. I guess that could happen. I don't know. So then that sometimes I think that if you have a touchstone, so a touchstone, what could it be? But, even a guru or a meditation or a practice or something, or
I have practice.
Or a lover or somebody.
Oh.
Yeah. A touchstone means like someone that calms you and stuff, and then you can touch that stone and then feel that peace, and then go back out in the world and say, well, let's see if that touch was portable. Let's see if I can take it into the hubbub.
It's always there. It's always here, you know. It doesn't matter, like being in the queue to get on the plane, wherever, there's always that sinking into the stillness in the middle of all the movement. It's always there. It's always here. But for me, anyway, it's like too much movement now. There's a real call for just giving the body a chance to just be. It's like I started getting dizzy being on schedule. You know, before I started sharing satsang, my life was really, I was living the jungle life, you know, living on an island, moving with the moon. Just simply moving as the body moves, just being, freedom of being. And then when I started sharing, I started to get invited here, there, and everywhere. And suddenly I had a full-on schedule, which was what I ran away from in the first place. Which is beautiful. It's beautiful work.
But there's something different about it because the full-on schedule, somebody, I guess, they were inviting you, so somebody was really getting solace out of that, right? And so then there was tremendous amount of satisfaction, right?
Absolutely. Beautiful work. Like, I love the work itself, but the actual, the real bit that is a real drag for me is the airports and packing the bags and carrying all this stuff. Yeah. This is the part that,
You ought to try packing when you got 170 pounds of cameras and computers and microphones and and when you got maybe 300 pieces, you know, some wires and this, that, and the other. And
you've seen my bottles of pearl, my bottles of oils and potions and everything. Because whenever I go, it's like I never know where I'm going and when I'm coming back. So I really take the whole house. You know? I don't have a place to return to.
Oh boy!
It's not packing from your home and going off and coming back to your home, because I don't have that. It's really just going with the whole home.
That was a trip. That because someone was just telling me some people that lost everything they had said everything got better. You know, they felt freer and they loved each other better, and everything was just off their shoulders. So you must be a lightweight traveler on planet Earth, right?
Well, I always pay overweight.
Oh yeah, me too. I got an extra suitcase. What do you make of all this talk about egos and conditioning? And I mean, it really seems to get complicated for something that could be as simple as that, you know. And the ego did this, and the mind wants to do that, and the mind will never do this. And I mean, well, these are just like stories, right? Real fancy, nice little decorations. And somehow, as long as we say that that's got some substance, we're dead ducks for decades.
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't have a name for any of it, then what?
Hey, we just have to be responsible citizens and love each other.
We'll just all be what we are, right? We wouldn't be able to separate and say.
It would be so clear.
We'd just be. I guess.
So we're always going to think up those labels, right? We're going to just, that's part of like our agreed upon action or something like that. We agree that labels are cool. And that they're a help. They're a help to get somewhere.
Yeah, just like we label cup. What would we call it? What would we put the tea in?
We call it a pitcher.
If we didn't know it was a cup.
It's kind of a whopper.
Yeah. When we say cup, we know what it's for, right?
Yeah. When we say ego, we don't know it. beings, right?
Yeah, when we say ego, I would say that we are spiritually conditioned. You know, the conditioning in the spiritual talk is just as much conditioning as anything else.
Yeah, but that's what draws us here. See, that conditioning draws us to gather and to say, "Hey, we're like-minded. We're like-minded." And
Yeah,
actually, we love each other. We're the sangha, and we can feel each other. We say all those things, out of
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Well, we need language. No? This is the beauty of the
Yeah, we need
humanness.
language, but do we need to believe in language?
No, no, no. It's not fixed. It can never be fixed.
Yet everybody's not that clear. A lot of people say a lot of pointers, and a lot of people have even lots of levels and all kinds of other stuff. I mean, it's huge. It's huge where you can get lost into, and say, well, it's certainly not here, and it's certainly not me. I'm not a level. I'm a level
Absolutely,
0, right?
absolutely, absolutely. You know, it was recently. I recently had somebody to come to sit with me for a few days, and the first question he asked me, he said, "Tell me, are you enlightened?" And I said, "Well, first you tell me what that means for you, and then I'll tell you if I'm that, because I don't know what you mean. You know, everybody's got their own meaning for the words. So tell me the meaning that you give to that word, and then I'll see if I am
Right.
that."
If you resonate with that, right?
Yeah, this whole what I see a lot is, and it's beautiful, and it's all part of the process, as life is. But what I see a lot is how so many people have the idea that there is some place or state to achieve, which they've named something called enlightenment or whatever, and they have this fixed idea of what that would be like, and they're not experiencing that fixed idea, so it's a faraway place they're trying to get to. And that's what creates so much illusion and so much confusion.
Often I look at it this way. I don't know if that makes sense, but of course, what we're looking for is, to us, an abstraction, right? Even if we're looking to return to somewhere we thought we were, it's still abstract in this
Yeah,
moment. And what
yeah,
we're seeking to leave to get there, we're seeking to leave what's really real. Because, I mean, we are somewhere, and we are with some people, and we are here and now. So then that's what we want to leave to get to some abstract. We want to leave the substantive to get to the abstract. And it seems like it should be reversed. That we'd want to leave the
yeah.
abstract to get to the substantive.
That's why, I just feel like it really cut through a fast, in a fast way when we first start with the question of who is wanting to get who is wanting to get there, who is wanting to leave here and go to the abstract or anywhere, who in the first place is wanting. If we start with that first question, it ends a lot of misunderstanding. Because we don't start trying to get somewhere unless we believe in the first place we are somebody separate.
Well, that's kind of like it. Are we convinced that there is no who, or what? I mean, what's going to happen? We turn our attention toward what is it? This who, this mythical who. Somebody told me that's the atomic bomb. That question. And you drop it, but it didn't go boom. What the hell?
Yeah, but then when we try to answer it with the mind, it's never going to go boom, right?
No, it's supposed to, because people say I asked that question and then I got enlightened, right?
Yeah, it's all nonsense, right?
Well, then the question maybe is nonsense.
Well, yeah. If we ask the question, okay, who is sitting here right now at the computer?
Yeah.
Well, in the case of me, I'm sitting here looking into a computer, meeting you. That's the appearance. But what is it that is looking into the computer? What is the quality of me that is looking into the computer? What is the quality of this that I'm
Inequality. It's like a capacity to perceive, right?
Yes, yes.
It's a capacity. So if that's a quality, I'm not so sure. The qualities are kind of like not too many, right? What other qualities? You ask the question,
No.
what's the quality? What's the quality?
Well, in this moment, as I sit here looking into the computer, I am aware that I'm sitting on a chair. My ass is touching the seat. And I'm looking into a screen.
Yeah.
And I'm perceiving everything that's here in this moment. There's a perception happening without me actually doing anything.
Right.
I'm not doing anything
you're
to
breathing,
perceive anything.
Beating your heart and stuff. You got a pulse.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm aware that that's happening,
Yeah.
but I'm not. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm completely out of control. My heart will do whatever it's going to do, and I can't do anything about that.
Can't you take a deep breath?
Yeah, I can take a deep breath.
So, okay, those are some kind of peripheral items.
I got no idea how much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what is it that's perceiving all of this? What is it that I'm calling me? This is the first question. Who am I? And this is not a question you can go, with the mind, it's really an investigation. It's really an inquiry.
Yeah. What if you go before that question? What if you go before that question? Is there something before it? Or I could suggest something, but
only that. Only that is before it. The answer is before it.
The answer is before the question, right? Well, there's a motivation. There appears to be a motivation to ask a question, right? And I would say that it's kind of like what I was saying before, because something about what's real seems to be lacking, and something about an abstraction seems to be rich and juicy. And so then it's upside down, the whole thing is like still upside down, even to ask it. If you were not upside down, you wouldn't ask the question and you wouldn't need to. But if you're upside down, like thinking that reality sucks and abstractions are beautiful, then you would start asking all kinds of questions.
Yes. And I remember, if I go in the memory, I can remember when the search started, looking for what is really all this about, What's the point in all of this? It cannot be just, what is really the point? And this longing to know really what I'm here for. What is the truth of myself?
But you didn't find it out either, did you? There's no. I mean, what did you find out? What I'm here for? You didn't tell me. Did you find anything?
I'm here
to say
and
hi,
what I'm here
to
for
Richard.
is to sit and share to you.
Right on. So, God, was that worth a couple of years of questions or what?
There was no question in those days. There was no question. It was just a longing, like a movement inside, like a movement to, like, I have to know what life is. I know I'm not here to.
Okay, let me ask about that movement. What was the quality of that movement?
Like an unstoppable. Like there was like a knowing that all the so-called normality that I was looking at was not real for me. and was not
What's the matter? Weren't
a
you a success? You weren't corporate,
what?
huh? I'm kidding.
Oh, no, 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 no.
I'm
I
kidding.
didn't get that. I didn't get that far. I didn't even go to school. Even that
Yeah,
pointless to me.
I,
Even that was like, what for? I don't get it. What for?
yeah. But
And
I
there
mean,
was
isn't
just like
that you? What is that longing? Because isn't that longing abstract?
freedom. It was like at that point of what I understood, it was freedom. I don't want to be
Yeah.
under these conditions. I don't want to get married and have kids and be in
Oh,
a
yeah.
kitchen.
Okay, so those are all
Uh,
stories. So somehow those
yeah,
stories
but it
didn't
starts
lend
out.
energy to your body, mind, spirit. Somehow those stories were not very energetic.
Yeah, well, that's usually where it starts out for. Um, when you're young and it starts out. Most of the people I talk to, the urge to know what's real and what's true started very young, like it was always there. But most of the people I talk to, but it's not always like that. But for many, it was always like, what is this? What is this life? What is it all for? And then this calling, this movement, moves you into the search.
Yeah.
For me, I always say that the search begins the moment you experience separation. From that first moment of when the child experiences themselves as a me separate, that's when the search begins. And it can take the form of searching for toys and sweets and I want something. Something's missing.
Well, a lot of what they want is, kids want to please their parents. They want to please and be accepted, and maybe it seems like there's some kind of a
Recognition,
uh,
connect,
deal or some kind of a
recognition.
commercial agreement. This for that, this for that.
Yeah, but that's where the bargain starts. But it starts after the identification with the body, me, the world, by myself, and that brings the experience of something is missing. And that's where the bargain starts. But it's all part of the plan, right? I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't
there's
know,
no.
because like I mean, it seems abstract to me. Number one, and number two, it means like everything about freedom is built on suffering or personal suffering, even personal suffering. Nobody's even looking at collective suffering. Those are only
Yeah,
do-gooders, right? So-called fix-the-worlders, and we're saying that all those guys are kind of deflecting their personal suffering by looking at. I mean, even missionaries and Christians and stuff say the only way out of your personal problems is to get a bigger problem, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But where we are now, I feel like the message is really coming out there through so many beings. And the message is awareness is free, right? That message is coming from everywhere. Awareness is free. You're not you're not the thinker, you're not the thoughts. You are the awareness of thought, and awareness is always free. This message is out there now, not through just the odd guru or someone
Hmm.
sitting on top of a mountain. It's really coming through the ordinary being.
Again, that seems to be personal suffering, right? Because awareness is free. You are always free. So then, but if you look out
Yes.
in the world, it doesn't look all that free, right? But if you say,
Right.
you can look at yourself, I can look in my closet and I can say, hey, I don't mind, and I can walk down the street and see sick people and stuff or whatever, and I can say that's okay too. Somehow I can be in a place where that doesn't touch me.
Yeah, but my view is more like one by one, when we're changing the in ourself, that becomes collective,
Oh, yeah.
because one being
Oh, yeah.
affects many beings. Whoever you come in contact with, when you start relating truly in a true way, you affect it. People are affected, and it's catching, right?
Oh, sometimes
So
that seems like a long way to go. I mean, isn't there a critical mass, or somebody says 1% or 5% or 10%? I mean, does everyone have to awaken
does everyone have to awaken?
before we can really have any peace on the world?
I don't know the answer to that. You know, I'm only like getting more and more and more and more and more honest within the whole, because we cannot separate our own body mind system to the collective. We're carrying part of the collective, right?
A
Or the
lot of it, a lot
conditioning.
of it, perhaps.
Yeah, it's in our genes. It's in our genetics.
Uh,
It's conditioning. So for me, it's more like, okay, I have the recognition that I am the awareness of every thought, feeling, sensation, and I'm always free. Yet, all the conditioning that is left over in the system still can play out, and therefore it's asked by life, in my experience, to really meet all of that in a true way, to really get, like, clean up the house, this one first, and then with every meeting I come in contact with, to get more and more true and clean and honest and authentic in the meeting. And I meet more and more and more beings who are longing or calling for that. I guess that I'm not so much in the um, I'm not surrounded by the society of homogenization so much, unless I go to visit my family, then I really feel it. But then I really feel like where I've come from, you know, like and where people are still living in the belief of how life should be. But I can only take responsibility for my system, my body-mind system that's carrying all of that, and to start really meeting that in a true and honest way. I can't deny it. If I deny that here by just saying I'm pure awareness and nothing touches this, then I'm denying the whole collective. I'm saying it's not there, it doesn't exist, and somehow it's arising in my body. You know, there are activations, there are triggers, it does go off in my body, and it's how I meet that which really makes the difference, I feel, in my own system and in the vibrational field I live in and the people I'm in contact in relating with. And so it goes on into the atmosphere. The frequency changes by each one of us meeting ourselves truly.
So it sounds like life could be an experiment about meeting things, and wherever you turn,
And
there's something to meet, right?
yes, it's a direct meeting from my view, which is not like, you know, I don't see that one person can have the whole of truth all wrapped up. You know, each one of us has an angle and a kind of a specific vision. And in my vision, it's really, I see that awakening is a moment to moment to moment to moment to moment, endless awakening. It's not that we're going to reach some place where suddenly everything is like, now nothing touches us. Now we can just watch everybody else suffer and
So it's
nothing
a
touches.
moment to moment to moment to moment to moment to
Yeah,
meeting, right? And so then to meet really what's here, you kind of have to
yeah,
go a little bit without a preconception of what's here, because otherwise you're meeting your preconception. But you can meet that too, right? I mean, in other words, it's
yeah.
always what's here is going to be filtered through a preconception, or
Yes, and meet the contraction, and it's really like, in my experience, it's always the beginning. You know, it's an endless awakening. It's really to be open to what I haven't seen yet, because there's always more to see. And that's what I was talking about, you know, the confusion. There's so much, of course, there's confusion in the mind only. The mind is confused, trying to do life, to get life right, to fix it, to make it, find happiness, all those things. But even when we awaken to awakeness as pure, aware, spacious, free beingness, as our true being, still all that's left over in the system, that needs to be cleared. It has to be met in this. It's like what
well, oh, yeah.
I like.
Yeah.
You know.
When you say all that's left over, see, because like I thought, we said you said, okay, there's a confusion. But in a way, what you said was really clear. It's always a beginning, right? It's always a beginning
It's
is
all,
pretty clear. Now, whether anyone believes it or not, but,
yes.
and everyone acts on it and they can say, it's
Let's,
always a beginning, but this is from yesterday and this one last one. But then, I mean, what else do I want to say? It's like, you said you got to keep meeting it and clear that out. But I mean, you're not going to clear it out, right? Because it's always a beginning. And so then,
yeah, I
and
don't
when
really
you
mean
say
that.
clear it out, it sounds like there's a finish to it and it's going to get out, it's going to be
Oh,
cleared. But that's not
let, let,
correct, right?
let me change clear it out to clearing. Because
Clearing.
clearing is more like a word that's continuous,
Oh, yeah, right.
It's like it's a clearing that's continuously happening. It's not like, okay, now I'm going to clear it out, and then I'm going to have all the house clean, and then I'm never going to experience any human. This is the human experience. We are here to experience the limitation. It is.
Yeah.
We're in a limited bioform.
So if we're here to meet, probably your parents' house is the best place, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But you don't believe me, right? I mean, you don't go there that often, right?
I do. There was one, I don't know, somebody said it once. Somebody always says something, right?
Yeah.
Somebody said, if you think you're enlightened, go visit your parents. And this is absolutely, where it's at. The moment I walk in the house, that child life inside of me can get activated and triggered in a second. And it's how I meet that changes. It's not that it doesn't happen. It's how I meet that, how I be with that, how I just let that be there in a free space without thinking that anybody else should be different or that they should realize or they should change or anything else. It's my freedom of just being able to experience that contraction and go, wow, it's still here. And it's here freely to be like welcomed. It's a direct experience. Yeah, it's always yeah, and it's beautiful because you get to see what's left here, and especially any relationship shows us that.
I said a
But
little
the
bit,
mother,
a while ago, I was saying like if there was a touchstone, right? And I said a guru or a practice or a relationship or a lover or something. And then if that would center you actually, and then somehow instead of trying to exactly stay there, I mean, you just go out and run it around, go take it for a test drive.
yeah,
And
it's easy. It's really easy. I find, once we are willing to meet whatever's there, it's easy. It's the resisting what's there that causes the trouble. It's easy once we are there just to meet it.
Yeah. So then, I mean, then maybe when we find that really easy, then we should go out and get in risky places, right? Like in the middle of traffic or I mean, who knows? We could become a war correspondent or something. That's a little raucous, but at least we could go to out on the street and try to calm the riots or something like that.
Well, preferences are still allowed.
Preference is still allowed, huh? Yeah.
What will you choose? So I know what I'll choose, and I don't know if that has anything to do with spiritual whatever. I'll always choose nature, beauty, to be in something that makes me feel delicious. I'll always choose that rather to be in high stress. But it's not always about what right?
If you're in high stress, doesn't mean you're highly stressed, right? I mean, supposedly you're free, and so you're not highly stressed, and you go into high stress. Why? To somehow calm the troops, or otherwise to coach them, or something like that, or I mean, in other words, in a satsang or in a meeting or a retreat of yours, people come from a high stressed area and they bring with them, right? And you're coaching them that hey, you can handle this. in certain ways,
Absolutely.
this way or that way. And you're saying
Yes.
meet it.
Yes.
Yeah, so then you can go right out on the street and do it.
Well, stories are beautiful, and in my story, I found freedom in jail, right? So when I first was giving satsang, and I was in a beautiful, beautiful house in the jungle, and beautiful, people were coming and saying, "Yeah, it's okay for you to say it while you're living on this amazing island, but I live in the middle of la 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 la." I say, "Hey, wait a minute. I came to find this that I'm sharing with you. I came to find in the most excruciating moment of the life of this body. That's where I found freedom,
Yeah,
and that
well,
it had so much value to me because it was in the middle of all of that.
yeah, you're lucky. You're very lucky because you have whatever you have is very, very portable, right? It'll go anywhere,
And
right?
I feel absolutely, totally blessed, with all I had, and I have, I still can have my share of the human suffering. It's like everyone gets their share. You know, and I feel so grateful to all of it because it's always pointed me to look for what is free, to look for what is true, to look for the way.
Mm, yeah. So then you could be like really a crisis worker, or you are one. Who
Oh,
knows?
please.
You don't go for it, huh? Maybe the world needs
No,
a few, you know. And anyhow, how about those people in jail? You know, they might didn't,
I would
maybe they
love them.
responded. Maybe they really got it when you talked to them.
Yes, I mean, if life ever presented to me to speak to a load of people in jail, I would be, deeply honored because that is such an amazing situation. But jail is only here anyway, right? So I am speaking to people in jail.
I that jail, right?
Freedom in jail, that's what I say now. Find freedom in jail is exactly this. Find freedom while being challenged by the mind, because that's the only thing that happened to me. It's just that it was so tight. And so then the opening was so great.
Yeah. So that's the other thing, you know. Like crisis seems to wake us up somehow. We don't need a little bit of deceit, unease. Doesn't really do the job. It has to really blow our mind, right? When they
Well, I feel like some people, they just get it like so easily, and so some people get it like that. Maybe they didn't need that tight squeeze. But in my unique life process, I was always going for the tight squeeze. I was always pushing the limits. So it came that way for me. But
yeah. What can you say about that? Because, okay, you can say it just happened because of destiny and I was that kind of person and I was brought up that way and all that stuff and had everything I ever earned was a tight squeeze, right? But, I mean, you probably can have a lot of knowledge about where that tight squeeze comes from, and somehow I would say it's probably a definition that you define that, tightness is
you
transformative.
know, in my discovery in the last few years, I wanted to understand more deeply the uniqueness of each, the individuation. I wanted to have a deeper recognition about our differences because I know what is the same. Every pair of eyes, pure awareness looks through every pair of eyes. There's no difference in that anywhere. And there's no higher, there's no lower. There's no more, there's no less. There is only that same aware, spacious beingness looking through the eyes. Yet, the vehicle each one is traveling in is so unique. There's not, there are no two alike. And that is really, really like a miracle on top of the miracle, yeah. And I wanted to understand more deeply what was actually happening in relating, how all this works, because I was having some difficulty in that, and I wanted to look deeper into it. And I came across something called human design. And this information, this knowledge is it is so accurate like so many things, and it was exposing um, the science is like the science of differentiation, showing how before we even take the vehicle, there are genetic imprints that the vehicle is already made up of before we even take the vehicle. It's already has its specifics, its specific genetic imprints. And I went into looking into the imprints of this vehicle, and the accuracy was just so totally mind-blowing. And it showed me that, there was never a choice. I mean, I already knew that it's choiceless. The appearance of a choice. We have a choice in each moment. Shall I drink tea or coffee? Is apparently a choice. There's an appearance of a choice. Yet the programming that's already there before the conditioning of the surroundings is choiceless. And could it have ever been any different? I only ask myself in this moment, sitting, looking into the computer with you, could this moment be any different?
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, this moment is this moment. Although I can remember that I took a lot of moments as very stressful and anxious and forced, and that doesn't happen that much anymore. And then,
Right, but this moment itself, could this moment, looking into the computer, this meeting, it appears like you and I have planned it. And we have the experience of planning this meeting right now. But really, was there a choice about it? Even if there's an appearance of a choice, could it be any different than it is in this moment?
yeah. Well, that's really hard to do anything with. Okay, okay, that's a hint, right? And then
Yeah.
people are saying, okay, well, in this moment, nothing's happening. There's absolutely, it's choiceless. And then, okay, next moment,
But
nothing's happening.
what can happen is the mind gets hold of that and says, well, if there's no choice, then I'll just give up ever.
Yeah, giving up is a choice, is it not, or what? No, there was no choice in giving up. You just give up because this was this small. It's not really no choice. It's just your tendencies are playing out because they're unconscious,
exactly.
right?
The program is there.
Your programming is playing out. And then if your programming changes because you met something, you felt it, you said, gee, that's not so bad. I mean, I thought I was at the end of the world there, but, that was only indigestion. And then, I mean, you're back in business again, right? And another pattern takes hold.
And it makes a huge difference when you're awake in the program. The difference is when the program is running and you take it to be you, like it's really a program running and you're taking it to be you who is doing life. You are the program. When we awaken to the program, we are aware that there's a program running, then it's no longer, everything falls away, like guilt or pride or blame or shame. All these things cannot have any weight anymore when we're not taking ourselves to be the program. This is like a whole heap of charge falls away with no identity to the blame or shame or pride.
So we start giving ourselves a great big pass,
Yeah.
we're not pinned down anymore, and we're just saying, whoa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when we start moving out of that recognition.
So we can call that self-love, we can call that grace, we can call that gratitude and all that forgiveness and stuff, because everybody gets a pass, right?
Yes. We set everybody free.
Yeah.
In our yeah.
Yeah.
Because if we cannot be blamed, neither can anybody else, right?
Yeah.
So when we get free, everybody else is free. No. Otherwise, if we're still carrying some kind of blame, it's here. It's not free, right?
Yeah. Let me think of what you said, and I'll repeat a couple things and see if I'm on the right track because you said maybe human design came up, right? And then something about you, I don't know, I think you said that it's interesting to see these mechanisms or something like that, or how it works. Did you say something like that?
Yeah, I said that I received the information about the specific genetic imprints of this body, mind, vehicle I'm traveling in. And it's so accurate, there's absolutely no way to go, well, I'm not sure about that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like so accurate, it blows the mind. How could this information be there?
Even going more broad, though, because we said, okay, human design and then genetic imprints, right? But even more broad than genetic imprints because there's other kind of conditioning and culture and there's some kind of
And
collective and stuff like that, right? And all those things are in there.
and in every moment, this is what I came to awaken in the vehicle. The vehicle itself came to some awakeness through recognizing that with every person I meet, like for example, you have a completely different meeting with every single being you meet. You don't have the same meeting with the next one or the next one. Awareness is the same, sure. Yet it's a unique meeting. And the meeting I would have with you if we were in each other's auric space is a total unique meeting. It cannot be repeated if you turn to the next or I turn to the next. It's a different configuration of genetic match, electromagnetics meeting, and how I take you in and how you take me in, how we condition each other in the moment. And this is not a negative thing. It's just how there's certain aspects of you that I don't have, and I take them in.
Yeah.
So
a lot of times we say reflection or something like that, or we might say resonate, and resonate means more frequency and all these kind of ways to explain. And then all those kind of are based on separation. So then if you really say oneness, well, then of course we're just one. And so then, of course, we feel each other.
Yes. And yet in every meeting, we're taking in conditioning. We're conditioned and we're taking in conditioning in every moment with every meeting. So I came.
Aren't we ever dissolving it? I think sometimes we meet and we dissolve conditioning because then we see that there's no substance to it. We see that it's kind of like arbitrary.
Yeah, we are free of it, yet the body-mind experiences it. Yeah?
Yeah.
So I wanted to understand what is happening in relationship. That was the calling for me to look into this thing, because I knew that whenever I went into relationship with a particular person, one thing was happening that doesn't happen when I walk away from him. It doesn't exist here. It only exists in that meeting. Understand what is happening.
Good.
And through going deeper into understanding that, I came to understand how this operates, how my particular vehicle talks in the world. And then through coming to know my own unique genetic imprints, how I'm designed and how I get conditioned, then I can know, or I can be more aware of what is truly my own design and what is happening when I'm conditioned.
Yeah, just to go back to that, you said whenever you get in front of a certain guy, I'm going to say, it keeps coming up, right? And so then that means you weren't meeting it. Is that what it means? Because why would it keep coming up?
That a little bit different. It's that's also true what you say, yes, but it was like more like one thing keeps happening that I experience myself as somebody else. I lose myself in the relating. It's like I lose myself. I've completely
totally lose yourself. You mean, or lose yourself in the guy that's in front of you? Which
I don't lose myself as pure, aware, spacious being. That is still the same, remaining the same. Yet, it's like I've become somebody else in the body-mind. It was something I wanted to understand about conditioning, and this brought a lot of awareness about differentiation, how different we are, how unique we are, how your way to see the world is as valid as my way to see the world. Not that my truth is the one truth. I have the answer and I see it and it's exactly like that. It's giving freedom to the uniqueness when we see the limitation of our own genetic imprints.
Yeah, you keep saying genetic imprint, but then you said conditioning, and see how I'm conditioned too, and that's not through genetic imprint, or is that the only way we're conditioned?
Well, it's.
I mean, we're conditioned through imitation too, and not only imitation monkey see, monkey do, but also just imitation vibration, meaning okay, that's their anger level. Okay, you always get anger like that. Oh, that's their resigned level. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's their tiredness level. I mean, everything, all that kind of energy levels, everything we're imitating, right? Until we know different.
We're always being conditioned.
Yeah.
And it's in the world of self-realization, when we realize that we are the awareness and not the conditioning, we're always free.
Yeah.
Always.
And then we're still always conditioned, right? And we just realize that's just a decoration.
You can't get away.
That's a decoration, right?
You can't get away from that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess what I'm saying is where I'm at in my own process is in the full total allowing of that at the same time, not the denial of that.
Beautiful, yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, that's the only way. That non-denial is the only way you can really meet it, because otherwise you say, hey, instead of meet it, why don't I just skip out of here?
Well, it's easy to use spiritual talk to skip out of there.
Yeah.
To say,
right on.
To say, I'm the awareness and I'm never touched and la 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 la, which is all, it's all true.
Well, that's mostly what I'm up to, because I'm trying to kind of poke a few holes in that misunderstanding, because I think it can stick people for a long, long time, and then they'll say, well, spiritual awareness has no place for politics, or has no place for fixing or for call the Christians if you need missionaries if you need to go to any starving people or orphanages or something like that, and we just do it by hocus pocus because space cures everything, Source is the great doer, and so Source will fix everything. And Source has fucked up everything totally, as far as I can see. And it's a great honor to be here, because I got so many things to fix, right?
And you are here in the humanness, right? After all, you're here to experience the humanness.
Yeah, I'm here to experience every bit of it, every last place. That's why I feel so lucky, because wherever you turn, it's there. It's always in front of my face. There's no lack of places to send love to.
Yeah, to be true to yourself in the form, in the limitation. It's really, I see it like the old way of spiritual talk is not going to work anymore.
I see that too, because I see okay, I guess I said this before, but I'll just say it to you and see what your reaction is. Spiritual teaching is two components, because one is tradition and ideas of how it could be and how it was and all that stuff, and maybe they're called pointers, and the other way is called presence. I mean, that's another thing that's so that one makes more sense, right? But presence, instead of reacting, is always responding. So then it looks like the world is changing so damn fast that responding is going to change fast too. So the responding part of spirituality is going to just shift radically. We won't even recognize it. And then the traditional part of spirituality is just going to crash and burn, because it's going to be so outdated.
And this will be the end of gurus.
Yeah.
This is the end of master and disciple.
Maybe we'll all be gurus then.
Yes, everybody coming into their own authority. And, that's... you see it already, the way it's happening in the ordinary being is starting to... There's a revolution coming, Nobody's going to allow the governments. Nobody's going to allow any authority above them. Yeah. And that's just at the standard. It
doesn't sound pretty. It doesn't sound pretty at all.
Well, yeah, that's what's... I mean, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, because it's not bad news in the end.
In the end, yeah, right. In the end, God's rule will prevail.
We can't just like
And
be in. It's
let me
all
go back and say that, because I was kind of driving at a point there, and I was getting close to it anyhow. Because you were saying like, what were you saying? See the mechanism, right? And so
yeah,
then I was thinking like, okay, there's a mechanism of so many things that can. Well, you were saying mostly genetic makeup, but I mean, I think all of those things that condition us, there's a mechanism to it, and I like that. I like it a lot, because with the mechanism, if you're willing to discuss what is this mechanism, maybe where would you look? And what I'm suggesting is that somewhere this conditioning fires up. Like there's a turning point where I'm in peace, and then all of a sudden
yes,
I'm in turmoil, and then somehow you
yes,
got from there to there, but we never noticed the entrance. Somehow we're always
yes,
there when it's full on. And
yes.
so then if you could notice that entrance, that's when you could take a extra pause and say, well, should I go through that door or not? Okay, I did it
And then,
yesterday.
and any moment that it's like you say, like there's a switch. Did you say switch?
Well, a switch could be good, but there's a point, there's a turning point, or there's
Yeah,
an entrance point, or there's a point
yeah,
where, like, oh, some people say get on the train, like the train pulls in, it's a thought or a
yeah,
feeling, and we say, okay, yeah, that's interesting.
yes,
I'm gonna run that one.
right. But and my response to that, like the thing I saw in me was like, it, even if we don't catch it the moment before it moves, because anyway, it's there to be met, it's there to be seen. It's like there is unconsciousness in the system, which is not personal. It is what we're carrying from thousands of years of conditioning. It's in the collective. We can't separate, right? So even if there is that movement where we're in that experience, it might happen like a few moments later that we suddenly see that we're in that experience. Wow. And even though we see that we're in it, you know? And but the moment we see that we're in it, it's how we're gonna meet being in it. And for me that is like to the moment I'm aware that, wow, how come I'm in this drama right now? Like there's an activation. I call it an activation. Somebody comes along and especially in my process, especially in PMS time, the time before the bleeding, it's any moment it can just go off in my system, an activation, and suddenly it's like wow, look at this. You see the movie playing, and then there's like really being there for every sensation that's moving through your system in that moment. Like there's a whole thing happening outside in the play, but there's a whole thing happening inside, right? Whether it's contraction or resistance or wanting to, how do I get out of here? Become present. Like that's still resistance. There's like a coming in to the experience, like really coming inside and just being there in all those sensations, moving through the body, even if the same thing is playing out, staying inside the experience without being identified.
No,
Do you
that's
hear what I'm
totally
saying?
beautiful. I really get it. I really get it. And then so many times that's the way it works too, because we find ourselves in something. I mean, it could be even hours that we we finally say, "Oh yeah, right, I'm in something," or it could be minutes or seconds. I'm just
Yeah.
asking you, with your experience and with your level of maturity, is there a moment where I mean you see the turning point actually, and you don't go in, and you see
There are
there's a temptation to go in, right? You're tempted,
many
highly
times
tempted,
that
because you say, "Wow,
yeah,
my God, that's
but
interesting," and my response
it's,
is so right for this moment. I could really whack that guy,
yes,
I'm actually.
yes,
I'm actually a comedian about it, and it should be soft, and he should like it. And you're so
yes,
tempted to say, no, I got to let that
yes.
one go, and I'm going to just get into it. And then you could just
There are
say,
many
okay, no,
moments.
I'm
Yeah,
not,
there
I'm
are
not
many
so
moments
interested
where you just
anymore.
go, no, thank you, I'm not going there.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Many like that. And then there are other moments, and for me, I use the PMS time,
Oh, yeah.
right, premenstrual time, where there is no even split second of I'm not going there. There's a going. It's like there's a being in it and being awake in the experience of going there. And so then there's like a way of really waking up in what that does inside this body. In this, it's like the nervous system is reacting, not me.
Oh yeah.
The nervous system has gone, and there was
Poof.
no way to catch it. It's already gone.
Oh boy.
It's going to.
Explosions.
Yeah, and it's in the nervous system. I feel like that movement in the nervous system is it's old. It's really old. It's like there's a rewiring happening.
Yeah.
And there's still a tendency, and it's in the collective. We're all feeling what's happening in the collective. We can't separate ourselves, no matter how present we are.
Well, we can in a way, because we can, and when we realize it's a collective, we can say, okay, like, I mean, I was even thinking about this the other day, that, okay, every dissatisfaction is really a preconception, right? Because you have to come up with the idea. You have to come up with the idea that it could be different.
You can separate yourself. And what I'm saying is that even when you are aware that it's all a movie happening in you, yes, you're free, but it's still happening. Because it's still happening in the planet. There's no way to escape from what's happening in the planet. There's nowhere to go, right?
No, I'm just saying, okay, like you can notice that everything starts with a preconception. Because if you don't have this conception of like, oh, it's an abstract thing that says now could be different, right? And then that's either like a kick in the pants to get moving and go to work, or it's a suffering saying, oh, I can never do it, or it's like a dissatisfaction that I didn't win. And so any one of those things, or that it moves your attention to the future, saying that, and it makes a judgment because you've got a preconception. So whatever happens, you're going to check back to the preconception to see if it happened. And so then it's a huge setup for everything. And then who's doing all that stuff is what we call ego. But then you can realize, okay, every preconception is not mine. I have no ownership papers.
Exactly.
I don't have a deed. I don't have a bill of sale. I don't even have a cash receipt. There's no proof that anything that I've ever thought, ever, is not collective. Where's the personalization of anything, right?
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
so easy. That is so easy, right?
So easy. So easy.
And then to get on all those trains, why would you even get on, I mean, there's no preconception, so there's no judgment, there's nobody doing it, so there's no ego, there's no suffering, because there's no dissatisfaction at the end of the road. And there's no setup for the next one. There's no setup, because you're not saying, okay, that preconception was a little bit to the left, I'll tweak to the right next time. There's no setup for it, right?
Well, the mind might still do that, but you don't buy the mind.
Oh, yeah. I was just wondering if in your experience there's that kind of restfulness where you can really just go and just never get on the train.
In my experience, it's like there are moments where I see myself. It's like I see myself suddenly in the drama again. The drama's happening, and I can see that it's not happening to me as pure, aware, free space. It's not happening to me. The movie is rolling, it's happening. And if then the mind can always come with a commentary of this should be different, or I could have done it this way, or I could have just stepped out, or I could have whatever. But this is still the mind trying to do the moment. And the fact is that it's happening. So how I meet what is happening is what energizes the thing to play again and again and again, or not. How I meet it.
Right. No, I get it.
It's all
I totally get
about
it.
how.
Yeah.
You know what I talk about a lot, because it's the one thing that works for me always, is it's one word. Drop. Just drop. In any moment, drop it all. What is here? Really, just drop it all. And that can be like at the mind level, or if there's an emotional reaction already triggered, that's already happening, drop your consciousness into it. Be there. Just
So
keep on
yeah, then
dropping.
you could probably, it's probably worthwhile to say that then that's a little bit mini process, because that emotion is probably a chemical process, and so then you've got to be there long enough for that chemical to kind of dissipate, and so then you got to give it
Absolutely.
a little time too, right?
Yes, because I really don't meet people, and I work with people all the time, and I don't meet anybody who doesn't go through this process of first there's the recognition of oneself as pure aware, free space, always here, always aware, always free. First, this recognition. Then, all the unfinished business in the system, it hasn't been met in this recognition. So it's in the beginning, people are either in that experience of pure aware, free space, or caught up in the personality drama. But that's only like the beginning. It's either this or that. But as we go along, my experience and my sharing with people is they are not separate. They are together at the same time. So all the unfinished business that's coming up, it's not coming up because you didn't reach somewhere or you're not yet free. It's coming up because it is asking, although there's no asking, it's asking to be met in truth, to be really, really directly experienced in free awareness that welcomes that as a sensation, to rise up and just be met as sensation. That there is a process of it rising up and it falls away. And every time we meet ourselves like this, instead of jumping on the train and energizing the story that caused it, then there is a deepening in the recognition of freedom, no matter what is arising. And then it's all welcome to arise. There's not a trying to control my experience, to keep things out, to have an experience of avoiding this human business. It's all welcome just to come. So it's like I say, dropping into it, you always find free space. It's always at the core of it. It's just that very moment, that moment, because the tendency is to jump on the thought, this is happening because, and it shouldn't be in la 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 la. Cut that. Meet the experience.
Mm.
That's needed. That cutting is needed.
And stay with it, right? Drop in
Stay
and
with
stay with it.
And I say to people who I work with, I say to them, anyway, even if there's nothing going on in your life that's triggering or activating, even if, take 1 hour a day and drop through all this waves of emotion and play and mind and tra la 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 human business. Just drop, 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 drop. Just fall in. Watch the body fall into relaxation. Just watch the body let go without any effort. Just falling into now, whatever now is. Take 1 hour a day like that, and that will give you a ground for whenever anything does come, that you know just to go on watching the body relax, fall into the...
Yeah. I mean, there the key was like when you said without any effort. I mean, that
without
was,
any
that's
at all.
amazing right there.
Yeah, because I've also seen people, when I've spoken about this, then people come along and say, well, I'm trying to do the dropping, but I just can't get there.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, even drop that.
Yeah.
Drop trying to get there.
Yeah.
It's whatever is here, just drop into
Right.
that. And that is the fine, subtle thing that is being avoided. People trying to get awakening, to avoid meeting what is here.
Right.
They want to get to somewhere to avoid this human experience. And I always say it's the other way around. It's like it's a coming into the human experience. The willingness to really, really just meet this human life as it is freedom. But who will be the one who is willing to say yes to everything and meet it all? Who will be the one? There's only one part of anyone that can say yes to anything. What is that?
Well, that part has no agenda and no preconception and no belief in his or her thoughts. And you can see. And so then you can even say it's a game, because he doesn't have to win, he doesn't have to lose, he's just going to play. It's playfulness.
It's playfulness, yes, right. Absolute playfulness.
So those are some...
this even the tragedy is a play.
I mean,
come on,
right.
Even how much we love the tragedy. Yeah. Come on, right. It's time to tell the truth. Yeah, we love it.
So it sounds like it's hard, playfulness, because some things are really hurtful, but I mean, we can play at doing the best we can at relieving the hurt, right? I mean, it's not any less sincere playfulness.
My experience is that when we are really willing to drop into the sensation called hurt, it doesn't hurt anymore.
Wow.
Pain becomes sweet. Can still be pain. Heartbreak can become the most delicious heart opening.
Yeah, I've seen people go to really real depths, in the midst of a huge fragility. Yes. Something, because every movement is so subtle that so much is seen that was just trotted over before and not seen.
Yeah, and that's when we really want to know the way. We really want to know what is real and true. We become innocent when we're fragile, right?
Right. Thank you, Ananta. So beautiful. A lot of great pointers there. Dropping in, staying with it. Yeah, bet. And
this has become so normal for me that I forget to tell people. I forget that people don't know this.
Right.
This is didn't teach you at school, and I forget that this is not what everybody.
I'm glad I drew it out of you to go back to the basics, right? Because
you're helping me actually to come back to the basics, because I forget that these things are also rare for some people.
Right. It's not like they're reticent or anything like that. It just never crossed their mind, Oh God, you can do that? That's an option? Oh wait, how do you? Is it so easy?
Yeah, it is so easy. Anybody can try it right now. It's so easy. Anybody who's listening to this, the very next activation you get, see how it is just to sit right in it and say yes to the sensations. Just to really experience them as sensations, no more, no less. Waves rising and falling. And just drop into and through each layer. And any time you see the tendency, yes, but that movement of mind, don't feed it. It's this simple. It's no more needed 20 years sitting, meditating, trying to become. It's right now. It's never not here.
God, you know how to please me. Ananta, wonderful speaking with you. Really, really clear and really, really soft. I feel really laid back.
I feel the same talking with you. So I don't know if it's you or it's me. This, this softness and this lightness is
this
really coming
this
with you.
unique meeting that we're doing, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, well, we're close, and who knows, we'll be closer. I'm close in Australia now, and someday we'll cross paths, and that'll be
Yes, I would really enjoy that.
our total good
Mm,
luck.
yeah.
And
Thank you.
thanks everyone for joining us today, and so we'll follow Ananta, and you can too. So, bye for this time. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye, goodbye.